There's something undeniably powerful about solitude, something transformative that many of us only truly understand when we experience it on a personal level. In a world that thrives on connection, on constantly being surrounded by noise, by distractions, by the hum of others' thoughts and energies, there is a quiet strength in learning how to be alone. I want to share with you today why being alone in its rawest form is not just something to be endured, but something to be embraced. It's a state that can push you beyond your limits, make you confront your deepest fears, and ultimately show you who you are without the influence of anyone else. When you're alone, you no longer have the crutch of others to lean on. It's just you. And that can be terrifying at first, because when there's no one else to reflect your identity, your thoughts, your beliefs, you're forced to meet yourself face to face. There's no hiding behind others. You're forced to take full accountability for your thoughts, actions, and decisions. And let me tell you, that's where the true power of being alone begins. In a world where so many people rely on validation from others, it can be difficult to imagine the kind of freedom that comes from standing alone. But think about it: when you're constantly surrounded by others, you're constantly hearing their opinions, their judgments, their views on what is right and wrong. It's easy to lose sight of who you really are in the noise of all of that. But when you're alone, there's a rare opportunity to reconnect with your core. You strip away everything that's been placed on you, everything that's been shaped by society's expectations. There's no one to please. There's no one to conform to. You are, in essence, left with just you and your own thoughts. And in that space, the freedom to truly find yourself is born. Now, let's talk about how solitude sharpens your focus. When you're by yourself, distractions are minimized. There's no one else's needs or demands to contend with. You can focus your energy entirely on what you need to accomplish, on your dreams, your goals, your vision. Without external influences clouding your judgment, the path ahead becomes clearer. You can make decisions based on what's best for you, not based on what others think is best for you. There's a certain level of confidence that emerges from that. Being alone also gives you time to reflect. In the busyness of life, when you're constantly engaging with others, it's easy to get caught up in the rush, to forget to stop and think, to examine how far you've come, and to appreciate the growth that's taken place. When you have that quiet space to sit with yourself, you begin to look at things with more clarity. You realize the importance of those quiet moments, the power that exists in taking a step back and assessing where you've been and where you're headed. And more than anything, you realize that it's okay to be alone during that time. In fact, it's necessary. One of the most powerful lessons of solitude is learning how to navigate the world without relying on others for your self-worth. Too often, we tie our value to the opinions of those around us. We seek approval, validation, and recognition. But when you're alone, you learn that your worth isn't dependent on external factors. Your value is inherent. It's not up for negotiation. And when you truly understand this, when you internalize this truth, it's liberating. No longer will you be shaken by criticism. No longer will you let the approval of others define you. You become your own measure of success, your own source of validation. That's the kind of inner power that can't be taken from you. No one can touch it. Being alone also offers an unmatched opportunity for creativity. Think about it. When you're by yourself, you're free from the need to impress anyone. You're free to think in unconventional ways, to explore new ideas, to take risks that you might not take when you're surrounded by the opinions of others. Creativity thrives in solitude because it's a space where your mind can wander without being interrupted or confined by the expectations of the outside world. It's a place where new ideas can take root, where innovation can blossom. Sometimes the best ideas come not when you're collaborating with others, but when you're alone, allowing your mind to explore the possibilities without limitation. Furthermore, solitude is where you can develop discipline. There's no one else to hold you accountable, no one else to give you a nudge or a reminder. It's up to you, and only you, to maintain focus and stay committed to your path. This is where real growth happens. This is where you build the kind of self-discipline that can carry you through life's challenges, where you cultivate the habits that lead to success. The act of showing up for yourself consistently, even when it's hard, when there's no one else around to cheer you on, is an act of strength. It's in those quiet, solitary moments that you discover how much you're capable of. You learn to rely on your own ability to push through, to stay committed to your vision, regardless of the circumstances. Being alone also fosters independence. We live in a society where independence is often undervalued. We are taught from an early age that we need to be part of a group, part of something bigger, that we need others to complete us. But solitude teaches you the value of self-sufficiency. It shows you that you are whole, that you are enough just as you are. It builds a strength that isn't reliant on anyone else. When you can stand on your own, when you can thrive in your own company, you realize that you don't need external support to feel fulfilled. And that's not to say that you don't value relationships or that you should isolate yourself. It means you've discovered the strength to navigate the world on your own terms, to make decisions based on your own values, and to create your own path forward. Another powerful aspect of being alone is the ability to recharge. We live in an era where we are constantly on the go, always busy, always engaged in some form of interaction. It's easy to burn out when you're constantly giving of yourself to others. But when you're alone, you have the opportunity to rest, to restore your energy, and to refill your cup. You can take a step back from the demands of the world and prioritize your own well-being. This is essential. The best version of yourself can only emerge when you take care of yourself, when you give yourself permission to pause, to heal, and to rest. And solitude offers you that precious time. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Loneliness is an emotion, a feeling that can occur even in the presence of others. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice, a state of being that comes from within. It's a conscious decision to step away from the noise, to remove yourself from the chaos, and to be present with yourself. And when you choose to be alone, you're not choosing to be lonely. You're choosing to nurture your inner world, to create space for growth and discovery. Loneliness comes when you feel disconnected from others, when you feel isolated in a way that doesn't serve you. But being alone is an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to discover new aspects of who you are and what you want out of life. It's easy to see solitude as something negative, something to avoid at all costs. But in reality, being alone is a gateway to personal power. It's a space where you can tap into your deepest potential, where you can uncover strengths you never knew existed, where you can build a life that reflects who you truly are. Solitude allows you to be your most authentic self, to strip away the masks you wear for the world, and to show up as you are, without apology or explanation. The most powerful people in history, the ones who made a lasting impact on the world, were often the ones who spent time alone. They used solitude to sharpen their minds, to refine their ideas, and to create a vision for their lives. They didn't let the opinions of others dictate their actions. They knew that in order to make a difference, they had to stand firm in their own beliefs, even when the world around them was uncertain. And that's the power of being alone. It allows you to find your voice, to build your strength, and to create a life that's true to you, not to the expectations of others. So I want to leave you with this thought: solitude is not a weakness. It's not something to fear or avoid. It's a tool, a powerful tool that can help you grow, evolve, and discover the depth of your own potential. Don't shy away from being alone. Embrace it. Because when you do, you unlock a strength within yourself that will carry you through the toughest times, that will propel you toward greatness, and that will remind you that you are enough, just as you are. You are the author of your own story. And it's in the silence of solitude that you'll find the power to write the next chapter. There's something undeniably powerful about solitude when it comes to self-discovery. It's in those quiet, solitary moments that we are truly able to connect with our deepest selves, away from the opinions and judgments of the outside world. Society often encourages us to look for validation, to seek approval from others, to conform to standards set by external forces. But in the midst of all that noise, we sometimes lose touch with who we are, with our true selves. Being alone, however, creates a sacred space where we can rediscover who we really are without the need to fit into anyone else's mold. This is where the transformative power of self-discovery comes to life, where we are given the chance to reconnect with our authentic selves, to strip away the layers we've built over time, and to uncover the person we were always meant to be. When we spend time alone, we are forced to face our inner world. It's just us with no distractions or external influences, and that can be both liberating and confronting. Many people fear this time because it often brings up uncomfortable truths. But this is precisely where the magic happens when we stop running from our thoughts and emotions. When we stop seeking validation from others, we allow ourselves to see the raw, unfiltered version of who we truly are. This is where true self-discovery begins. One of the most profound aspects of being alone is that it gives us the opportunity to reflect on our past, our experiences, and our choices. So often, we rush through life, bouncing from one activity to the next, without taking the time to pause and think about where we've been. It's in solitude that we have the space to examine our journey, to reflect on the decisions we've made, and to understand how they have shaped us into the person we are today. This self-reflection is crucial to understanding who we truly are. By looking back at our experiences, we begin to see patterns in our behavior, in the way we respond to challenges, in the things that motivate us, and in the things that scare us. This deeper level of self-awareness is essential to discovering our authentic selves. It allows us to recognize the stories we've told ourselves, the beliefs we've adopted, and the habits that have held us back. Only by acknowledging these aspects of ourselves can we begin to break free from them and step into a more authentic way of living. Being alone also provides the opportunity to shed the expectations placed on us by others. From a young age, we are often told who we should be, what we should do, and how we should think. These external pressures shape our identities, sometimes leading us to live lives that are not truly our own. We begin to live in a way that pleases others, in a way that gains their approval, rather than living in a way that feels true to who we are. But when we are alone, we are given the chance to break free from these imposed identities. We no longer have to wear the mask that society has given us. In solitude, we can question these expectations and decide for ourselves what we truly value, what we truly want out of life. It's in these moments that we reclaim our authentic selves, free from the constraints of other people's perceptions. In solitude, we also begin to understand our desires on a much deeper level. When we are constantly surrounded by others, we often mold our desires to fit the expectations and influences of the people around us. We may desire things because others desire them, or because we feel pressure to want them in order to be accepted or admired. But when we are alone, we can ask ourselves, what do I truly want? What makes me happy? What is important to me, regardless of what others think? This process of questioning is not easy, but it is essential to discovering our true desires. It allows us to move beyond the surface level wants that are influenced by the outside world and connect with the deeper desires that are uniquely ours. These are the desires that resonate with our soul, the ones that give us a sense of fulfillment and purpose. By taking the time to understand what we truly want, we can begin to live a life that is more aligned with our authentic selves, one that brings us genuine joy and satisfaction. Solitude also teaches us to trust ourselves. In a world where we are often encouraged to seek approval from others, we can sometimes lose confidence in our own judgment. But when we are alone, we are forced to make decisions for ourselves, to rely on our own intuition and wisdom. Over time, this builds trust in our own abilities. We begin to realize that we are capable of navigating the complexities of life on our own, without needing to rely on others for validation or direction. This trust in ourselves is empowering. It allows us to make decisions with confidence, knowing that we are the best authority on our own lives. It also frees us from the need for constant reassurance from others. We no longer need to seek approval or validation because we trust ourselves to make the right choices. This trust in ourselves is also key to uncovering our authenticity. The more we trust our own judgment, the more we are able to align our actions with our true values and desires. Authenticity is born out of this trust. It is the ability to live in a way that is true to who we are, not who others want us to be. It is the courage to be ourselves, even when it is uncomfortable or goes against the grain of societal expectations. When we trust ourselves, we are able to step into our power and live authentically, without fear of judgment or rejection. The process of self-discovery in solitude also involves a deep level of acceptance. We must learn to accept ourselves, flaws and all. Being alone forces us to confront the parts of ourselves that we may try to hide from the world, our insecurities, our fears, our vulnerabilities. These are the aspects of ourselves that we often try to suppress because we fear judgment or rejection. But in solitude, we are given the opportunity to embrace these parts of ourselves, to acknowledge them without shame or self-criticism. When we accept ourselves fully, we begin to let go of the need to be perfect. We begin to understand that our imperfections are what make us unique, what make us human. This self-acceptance is a crucial part of discovering our authentic selves because it allows us to stop pretending to be someone we're not. We no longer feel the need to fit into a mold that was never meant for us. Instead, we embrace who we are, imperfections and all, and we step into our power with confidence. Furthermore, solitude offers the time and space to explore new aspects of ourselves. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it can be easy to fall into routines and patterns that limit our growth. We may become comfortable with the person we've always been, without challenging ourselves to explore new interests, talents, or perspectives. But when we are alone, we are given the freedom to step outside of our comfort zones and try new things. We can explore new hobbies, learn new skills, or take on new challenges that we may have never considered before. This exploration of new aspects of ourselves allows us to grow in ways that we might not have if we were always surrounded by others. It broadens our understanding of who we are and what we are capable of, and it helps us uncover hidden talents or passions that may have been buried beneath the surface. Solitude also allows us to reconnect with our inner voice. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it can be easy to lose touch with our intuition, with the quiet whispers of our inner wisdom. But when we are alone, we create the space to listen to that voice. Our inner voice is the guide that leads us toward our authentic path, the voice that tells us what feels right and what doesn't, the voice that nudges us toward our true desires and away from the distractions that don't serve us. In solitude, we can reconnect with this inner guide and learn to trust it. This deep connection to our intuition is crucial to discovering and living our authentic lives. It is through listening to our inner voice that we are able to align our actions with our truest desires and values. When we embrace solitude, we come to understand that authenticity is not something that can be found in the opinions of others. It's not something that can be molded or shaped by the expectations of society. Authenticity is found within us, in the quiet moments when we are alone with our thoughts, when we allow ourselves to be truly present with who we are. It is a process of self-discovery that takes time, patience, and a willingness to face our deepest truths. But it is in these moments of solitude that we uncover the person we are truly meant to be, free from the constraints of others' expectations. Solitude is not a punishment, it is a gift that allows us to reconnect with ourselves and discover the power of living authentically. When we think about focus and clarity, what often comes to mind is the ability to concentrate on a task, to eliminate distractions, and to stay on track despite the noise and chaos of life. However, focus and clarity are not just about being able to sit down and complete a task without interruption. They go deeper than that. They are about creating the mental space to connect with your true desires, to understand your purpose, and to navigate the world with intention and direction. The modern world, with its constant demands and distractions, makes it increasingly difficult to maintain this kind of focus. Our attention is pulled in a million different directions, and we are often so caught up in the hustle of everyday life that we lose sight of what truly matters. The power of being alone, however, is that it gives you the opportunity to sharpen your focus and clear away the mental clutter that accumulates over time. In solitude, there are no distractions, no competing demands for your attention, and no external noise to drown out your thoughts. This stillness is where the mind can rest, recalibrate, and refocus. It is only when we are alone that we have the chance to truly examine our lives with clarity, to assess our goals, and to understand the deeper truths that drive our actions. It is in this silence that we can begin to cut through the confusion and reconnect with our core purpose. One of the most powerful aspects of being alone is that it forces you to be present with your thoughts and feelings. When you are surrounded by others, it is easy to lose yourself in the busyness of life. We often distract ourselves with the chatter of others, the demands of our jobs, and the constant barrage of information from our phones, social media, and news outlets. These distractions pull us away from our true selves, clouding our judgment and making it difficult to think clearly. In solitude, however, you are given the rare opportunity to stop, to breathe, and to simply be with yourself. This is when true focus begins. When you are alone, there is nothing to pull you away from the present moment. You can choose to be fully immersed in the task at hand or to simply reflect on your thoughts and feelings. This deep presence allows you to sharpen your mental focus, to tune out the noise of the world, and to focus on what really matters. This is the kind of focus that brings clarity. It's the kind of focus that allows you to see things for what they truly are, not through the lens of someone else's opinions or judgments. One of the greatest gifts of solitude is the ability to think deeply without interruption. We live in a world where everything is designed to keep us distracted: constant notifications, the pressure to respond to messages instantly, the constant barrage of emails and social media posts. It's no wonder we often feel overwhelmed and scattered. When we are constantly bombarded with information and requests, it becomes nearly impossible to focus on anything for any meaningful length of time. Being alone gives you the chance to slow down, to silence the noise, and to give your full attention to whatever you choose. This mental clarity is invaluable, as it allows you to make decisions with intention, to examine your life with fresh eyes, and to prioritize what is most important. Another powerful aspect of solitude is that it creates space for you to confront the things that might otherwise be hidden beneath the surface. It's easy to push aside difficult thoughts and emotions when we are constantly busy. We may avoid confronting our fears, doubts, or uncertainties by keeping ourselves occupied with distractions. But when we are alone, we are forced to face these uncomfortable truths. And it's in facing them that we begin to clear the fog in our minds and gain clarity. The more we allow ourselves to sit with our discomforts, to process our emotions, and to think critically about our lives, the more focused we become on what truly matters. We learn to prioritize our values, our goals, and our well-being over the fleeting demands and expectations of others. Solitude also gives us the mental space to step back from the fast pace of life and to reevaluate our direction. We can often get so caught up in the routine, in the daily grind, that we forget to ask ourselves whether we are on the right path. Are we living in alignment with our true desires? Are we making choices that reflect our authentic selves? The distractions of the outside world often make it difficult to answer these questions honestly. But when we are alone, we are in a better position to reflect on our choices and to make course corrections where necessary. This ability to step back and gain perspective is crucial for maintaining clarity in life. It allows us to see the bigger picture, to understand our long-term goals, and to make decisions that align with our true purpose. Focus and clarity also go hand in hand with self-discipline. The more we practice solitude, the better we become at resisting the pull of distractions and staying focused on what is important. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it takes great discipline to stay focused on our own needs, goals, and desires. Solitude helps to strengthen this discipline by removing external forces that might distract us. When we are alone, we have the opportunity to develop the kind of self-control that allows us to stay on track, to pursue our goals with intention, and to maintain a clear sense of direction. This kind of mental discipline is not something that comes easily. It requires practice, patience, and the willingness to embrace the discomfort that comes with solitude. At first, it might feel strange or uncomfortable to be alone with your thoughts. It can be difficult to quiet the mind and resist the urge to check your phone or turn on the television. But the more you practice being present, the easier it becomes to focus on what truly matters. Over time, solitude becomes a powerful tool for sharpening your focus and achieving clarity in your life. One of the ways that solitude enhances clarity is by allowing us to prioritize what is truly important. When we are constantly surrounded by other people and their needs, it can be difficult to know where to direct our energy. We may find ourselves pulled in many different directions, trying to meet the expectations of others while neglecting our own needs and desires. But when we are alone, we are free from these external pressures. We can take the time to reflect on our goals, our values, and the things that matter most to us. We can assess whether we are spending our time and energy on the things that align with our true purpose or whether we are getting caught up in distractions that take us off course. This process of reflection and prioritization is key to maintaining clarity in our lives. Furthermore, solitude provides us with the space to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. When we are constantly interacting with others, it can be easy to lose sight of our own needs and desires. We may become so focused on pleasing others, meeting their expectations, and fitting into social norms that we forget to check in with ourselves. But when we are alone, we have the opportunity to connect with our inner selves, to listen to our thoughts and feelings, and to gain a deeper understanding of who we are. This self-awareness is essential for achieving clarity because it allows us to make decisions that are in alignment with our authentic selves, rather than being influenced by external factors. As we spend more time alone, we also begin to learn how to trust our own judgment. In a world where we are constantly seeking advice and approval from others, it can be difficult to make decisions based on our own instincts and intuition. We may doubt ourselves, second-guess our choices, or worry about what others will think. But solitude gives us the opportunity to strengthen our trust in ourselves. It allows us to make decisions based on our own inner guidance, to listen to our intuition, and to trust that we have the wisdom and clarity to make the right choices for ourselves. This trust in our own judgment is crucial for living a focused and clear life, as it empowers us to take ownership of our decisions and actions. The clarity that comes from solitude is not just about knowing what you want to do in the moment. It is about having a deep understanding of who you are, what you stand for, and where you are headed. It's the ability to see your life from a broader perspective, to understand the connection between your actions and your long-term goals, and to make choices that are aligned with your deeper purpose. This kind of clarity is what enables us to move forward with confidence, knowing that we are on the right path. It's the kind of clarity that allows us to weather the storms of life, to stay grounded when things get tough, and to remain focused on our true goals despite the distractions that may come our way. Focus and clarity, then, are not just about achieving short-term goals or completing tasks. They are about creating a life that is aligned with our deeper values, a life that reflects who we truly are. When we take the time to be alone, to reflect on our lives, and to clear away the distractions, we create the space necessary to achieve this kind of clarity. Solitude provides us with the mental and emotional space to cut through the clutter, to see our lives with fresh eyes, and to move forward with purpose and intention. It is in these quiet moments of solitude that we can truly focus on what matters, align our actions with our core values, and create a life of meaning and fulfillment. The idea of building inner strength and independence is often associated with resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, to stand tall in the face of challenges, and to remain true to oneself when the world around you seems uncertain. But inner strength and independence are not just about surviving tough times. They are about developing a deep, unshakable confidence in yourself, your abilities, and your capacity to navigate the complexities of life, no matter what it throws at you. These qualities are cultivated through time spent in solitude, where you are forced to confront your fears, doubts, and vulnerabilities. It is in these moments of isolation that you discover what you are truly made of, not just in moments of victory, but also in moments of struggle and uncertainty. At the core of building inner strength is the ability to rely on yourself. In a world that often encourages interdependence, where support networks and external validation are highly valued, the idea of depending on oneself might seem foreign or even uncomfortable. But true independence doesn't mean rejecting others or isolating yourself. It means finding the power within you to face life's challenges with courage and confidence, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. When you build inner strength, you create a foundation of self-reliance that enables you to navigate both the highs and the lows of life without losing your sense of self. It is the knowledge that no matter what happens, you have the resources within you to persevere. Solitude plays a crucial role in this process because it gives you the opportunity to build that inner foundation without relying on external sources of validation or comfort. When you are alone, you cannot hide from yourself. You must confront the feelings and emotions that you may otherwise push aside or ignore. This confrontation is not always easy. It requires the courage to sit with discomfort, to face your fears, and to recognize your weaknesses. But it is precisely in these moments that your inner strength begins to grow. When you are forced to rely on your own judgment and abilities, you start to see that you are capable of much more than you initially thought. You begin to trust yourself in ways that you might not have before, and this self-trust becomes the foundation of your independence. Another important aspect of building inner strength and independence is learning how to take responsibility for your own life. It is easy to blame others, circumstances, or even fate when things don't go as planned. However, true inner strength comes from acknowledging that you are the author of your own story. When you take full responsibility for your actions, choices, and decisions, you begin to realize that you have the power to shape your own destiny. No one else can determine your path unless you allow them to. This realization is empowering because it places the control back in your hands. You no longer feel like a victim of external forces. Instead, you see that you have the power to make choices that reflect your desires and values. This sense of personal agency is central to developing both inner strength and independence. The road to independence is also about recognizing that you don't need external approval to be confident in who you are. In a society that often places a premium on external achievements, on accolades, recognition, and the approval of others, it is easy to lose sight of your own worth. We are often conditioned to seek validation from the outside world, whether it's through career success, social status, or the approval of friends and family. But inner strength comes from knowing that your worth is not dependent on external measures. You begin to realize that you are enough just as you are, without the need for others to validate you. This shift in mindset is critical to building independence because it frees you from the pressure to conform to others' expectations. You no longer feel the need to seek approval or to compare yourself to others. Instead, you can stand firm in your own identity, knowing that your value comes from within. Moreover, the process of building inner strength and independence requires the development of self-discipline. In solitude, you are able to reflect on your actions, choices, and behaviors without the influence of others. You become more attuned to your strengths and weaknesses, your desires and fears. This heightened awareness allows you to make conscious decisions about the direction of your life. You no longer operate on autopilot or go along with the flow of others' expectations. Instead, you begin to make choices that align with your true values and goals. This self-awareness is crucial for both inner strength and independence because it gives you the clarity to act in ways that are consistent with your authentic self. You become the architect of your own life, making decisions based on your own wisdom rather than the opinions of others. Inner strength and independence also come from learning to trust the process of life. We cannot control everything that happens to us, and often life doesn't unfold according to our plans. But when we are able to trust that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, we become more resilient and confident in our ability to navigate uncertainty. Solitude provides the space to cultivate this trust. It allows you to reflect on the challenges you've already overcome, to acknowledge your own growth, and to recognize that you are more capable than you may have realized. This trust in yourself and in the process of life allows you to approach the unknown with confidence, knowing that you have the strength to handle whatever arises. In the end, building inner strength and independence is about realizing that you are your greatest resource. You are the one who must create the life you want, the one who must take responsibility for your choices, and the one who must trust in your own abilities. Solitude provides the perfect environment for this process of self-discovery and growth. It allows you to connect with your own inner wisdom, to cultivate the resilience and discipline needed to pursue your goals, and to develop the emotional strength to handle life's challenges. By learning to rely on yourself and trusting in your own abilities, you build a foundation of inner strength and independence that will serve you no matter what the future holds. Creativity and innovation are often seen as the driving forces behind progress, whether in business, technology, art, or personal development. They are the catalysts that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, that bring new ideas into the world, and that change the way we perceive and interact with reality. But what is it that makes creativity and innovation so powerful, and how can we harness them in our own lives? The answer lies not just in the ability to generate novel ideas or think outside the box, but in cultivating a mindset that allows us to embrace new possibilities, push past limitations, and create solutions that have never been imagined before. At the heart of this process is the ability to embrace solitude, for it is in these moments of quiet reflection that the seeds of creativity and innovation are often sown. When we think of creativity, we often imagine it as a sudden burst of inspiration, a flash of insight that strikes us when we least expect it. But in reality, creativity is more than just an unpredictable moment of brilliance. It is a skill, a muscle that can be developed over time through practice and intention. Creativity thrives when we give ourselves the time and space to explore new ideas without the pressure of immediate results. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it is easy to become distracted by the constant demands on our time and attention. We are pulled in many different directions, often responding to the needs of others, fulfilling obligations, and rushing to meet deadlines. In such an environment, creativity can become stifled. The mind is too busy to entertain new ideas or to engage in deep, reflective thinking. Solitude, however, offers a different experience. When we are alone, we are free from the distractions of the outside world. We can turn inward and listen to the quiet whispers of our own thoughts. In these moments, the mind is able to roam freely without the pressure of external expectations. This is when creativity is most likely to emerge, when the mind is allowed the freedom to explore, to wonder, to imagine. It is in these moments of stillness that we can connect with the deeper parts of ourselves, the parts that hold the most unique and original ideas. When we are not constantly distracted by the noise of the world, we can begin to see things from new perspectives, making connections between ideas that may have previously seemed unrelated. But creativity is not just about having new ideas, it is also about the willingness to act on those ideas and bring them into the world. This is where innovation comes in. Innovation is the process of taking creative ideas and turning them into tangible, real-world solutions. It is about taking risks, challenging the status quo, and pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Creativity without innovation is like a spark that never ignites a potential that is never realized. To innovate, we must be willing to step outside of our comfort zones, to challenge ourselves, and to take action, even in the face of uncertainty. In solitude, we are given the opportunity to reflect on the ideas we generate and to evaluate them without external influence. We can assess whether they are worth pursuing, whether they align with our values, and whether they have the potential to solve real problems. It is often in solitude that we come up with the most innovative solutions because we are not constrained by the limitations or expectations of others. We are free to think unconventionally, to test out ideas without fear of judgment or failure. This freedom allows us to push the boundaries of what is possible and to challenge the norms that have been established in our respective fields. One of the key elements of creativity and innovation is the ability to embrace failure. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided, a sign of weakness or inadequacy. But in reality, failure is a crucial part of the creative process. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to refine our ideas. Many of the world's greatest inventions and innovations came about after numerous failures, and it is only through persistence and resilience that we can bring our ideas to fruition. When we are alone, we can develop the mental fortitude to accept failure as a part of the journey, to view it as a learning experience rather than a setback. This mindset shift is essential for both creativity and innovation because it allows us to keep moving forward, even when things don't go according to plan. Creativity also requires a certain level of vulnerability. To be truly creative, we must be willing to expose ourselves to the possibility of judgment, rejection, and criticism. The ideas we generate are often personal, tied to our own experiences, values, and beliefs. When we share those ideas with others, we are putting ourselves out into the world in a way that can be uncomfortable and vulnerable. But it is through this vulnerability that true innovation can take place. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to new experiences, new perspectives, and new ways of thinking. In solitude, we can cultivate this vulnerability in a safe and supportive environment without the fear of judgment from others. This allows us to explore ideas that we might otherwise suppress, to experiment with new concepts, and to test out new approaches. Another important aspect of creativity and innovation is the ability to take risks. It is easy to stick to what is familiar, to rely on tried and true methods that have worked in the past. But true innovation requires stepping into the unknown, trying things that have never been done before, and being willing to fail. When we are alone, we have the space to take these risks without the pressure of external expectations. We can experiment with new ideas, explore uncharted territories, and try things that might not work out. This sense of freedom is essential for creativity and innovation because it allows us to take bold, unconventional steps toward finding solutions. It is in these moments of experimentation that we often stumble upon breakthrough ideas, things that have never been tried before or that no one thought possible. The creative process also requires patience. Innovation is rarely an overnight success. It often takes time to refine an idea, to test it, and to iterate on it. It requires a willingness to persist, to stay committed to the process, even when the initial idea doesn't work as planned. In solitude, we can develop the patience needed to see our ideas through to completion. We can take the time to reflect on what is working, what is not, and what needs to be improved. This ability to stick with an idea through the long, often difficult process of development is what separates successful innovators from those who give up too soon. In addition to the personal benefits, creativity and innovation also play a crucial role in society. Throughout history, it is often the creative thinkers, the innovators who have driven progress and changed the course of human development. From the invention of the wheel to the development of the internet, innovation has shaped the world in profound ways. These innovations were not always met with immediate success or recognition, but they had a lasting impact on society, transforming industries, economies, and cultures. In today's rapidly changing world, creativity and innovation are more important than ever. As we face complex challenges, climate change, economic inequality, technological disruption, it is the creative thinkers and innovators who will lead the way forward. The ability to think creatively and innovate is not limited to a select few individuals. It is a skill that can be cultivated by anyone. By embracing solitude, we create the mental space necessary to generate new ideas, to evaluate them, and to develop the courage to act on them. In solitude, we have the freedom to experiment, to fail, to take risks, and to explore new possibilities. We can develop the resilience needed to persist in the face of setbacks and the patience required to see our ideas through to fruition. Most importantly, we can build the confidence to trust ourselves and our abilities, knowing that our creativity has the potential to change the world. Creativity and innovation are not just about thinking differently, they are about thinking boldly, about taking action, and about believing in the power of new ideas to shape the future.